What age did you move out at?
After graduation.
23.
Right.
Yeah, 23, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because from what you were saying, you sounded way more emotionally mature, right? Because I moved out 16, 17.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think being surrounded by people was great, but at the same time, I can relate to needing time for myself. But at the same time, I think there's like all these things that you don't realize, and I think when I think of time to myself, I just wanted to like go like game or like whatever.
Yeah.
But now that I look back, it's probably to like give myself a break from, I guess, sort of like the new emotions or like the new surroundings and stuff.
Reset your social battery. I find as well sometimes because you're trying to make new friends and you're trying to make connections and you're trying to do so much that when you get home, you're just like, I'm just going to sit here for a little bit in silence and just chill. Yeah.
I have those moments.
Yeah. No, so I can relate to that, but it wasn't as well thought out at the time.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like looking back, it makes way more sense. But yeah, how old were you when you moved out?
I was pretty much the same as her, 23, but I wouldn't say I was mature. I was very immature. I think it also comes with like the culture that I came from, like because I was still living with my like parents and stuff like that. So so that was actually one of an unexpected challenge for me too, because like back home in the Philippines, I'm always surrounded by people, so I didn't realize that I was an introvert. But like when I came here, I couldn't like actually go and come up to people and be like, hey, how are you? What's your name? Can I be your friend kind of thing? So I was just like staying with my friend.
Can I be your friend?
Yeah, I know. Right? That's like so weird. No, I never say that now.
Now.
Every now and then I do. But yeah, so like how I made friends, like I would just be with my one friend and then she's like very good with other people and then I kind of just like
Tag along.
Yeah, tag along and be like, hi, I'm also her friend. Can I be your friend? No, yeah, that's true. But apart from that, it was really hard. What was really hard for me was like getting a job. Because I think they value referrals and like endorsement and stuff like that. So I struggled with getting like an office job. And also because I was an international student, so I was only limited to like doing 20 hours a week.
Oh, right.
So there's that too. So I didn't expect to do that and like or like to have a hard time getting a job. And then like towards the end like just to survive, I think I had to like the people I met the only job that they could offer me was like cleaning jobs and stuff like that. So like I think for like a few weeks I had to survive on just like cleaning offices and cleaning toilets. And I was like, when I told my mom, she was like, I did not expect that you'd be doing this. Because I never cleaned before in my whole life. And I was like, now cleaning offices and cleaning toilets. And I was like, I could not imagine myself doing that. But I guess because I'm here too and I didn't know anything, I couldn't really be like particular with what I want. So so I had to like just make do with what I have. Yeah. But so that was like an unexpected challenge because like I thought, because I kind of worked in the Philippines, so like for a year or two, almost two. So I thought I would like get an office job like really quickly. Yeah. But no, it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Was an office job your first job?
In the Philippines, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it's unlike here, like we don't like work. I think do you guys start working at 16?
I started.
I think the legal age is like 14 and 9 months or something.
So it's
really?
not,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
so I started 14, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like that with us. Like prior to like working an office job, I didn't really work or like I struggled. I didn't have to work because the cost of living in the Philippines is also very low. It's not like as high as here. So if you have a comfortable life, you don't have to work at the same time while you're studying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, at 14, you don't have to work. Like, isn't like if like I did.
That's the legal age, but I feel like most people, when they hit uni, they start working.
Yeah.
Or like some kind of part-time job.
My parents just told me to work at 14. Like they were just
Really?
like, like they were like happy for me to go go get a job, etc.
Yeah.
Not that like they let me use that money for myself, anyways.
Oh.
Like as in like they just make me save it, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
But like, there's nothing you can really buy when you're a kid. I feel like your parents kind of just, oh, what did you want to buy?
Lollies.
A lot of
Lollies,
things. At 14, you're not
games.
looking at lollies. Yeah,
Games.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there's like all
right,
these
right.
PS 3 at the time. Yeah,
Sneakers.
PS3. Yeah, exactly. Or whatever, right? Go watch a movie or something of the sort.
Yeah.
But then you still
okay.
have to pass your financial gatekeepers, aka
The
parents,
gatekeepers.
the gatekeepers.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I think they were like it'll teach you things, teach you responsibilities. They looked at it very favorably because it was literally like working at Domino's. It wasn't something like reputable.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like office job or whatever. But there were definitely like life lessons and stuff that you're learning. at
Yeah.
that point.
It humbles you too.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yes, that's interesting. Like
Mm.
so yeah. And I know plenty of people that sort of started at that age. So that's what's interesting as well.
Okay. I think around my area, it was more common for people to get a part-time job in maybe year 11 or 12. So you'd be like 17 or 18 or in university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I just continued from that point forward.
Yeah,
So
right.
I always had a job after 14.
Mm.
So when I was going through uni, I was working and doing like the weekends and plus some hours in another day or something like that.
Yeah,
All
right,
throughout
right.
uni.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and onwards, it just became a part of it.
So responsible.
Barely. But,
Getting there.
I had to have a head start.
yeah.
So, like, what were some of the biggest lifestyle adjustments you had to make since, like, when you had to move to Armadale?
At home, I didn't really do much housework at all. I was very spoiled. I didn't do the laundry.
I think I really like that too.
Didn't do the cooking. And
Really?
so,
Same.
yeah. Like sometimes I would help out a little bit, but usually my mum would do most things. And then my dad and my sister are both engineers. So anything technical that came up, they just know how to do it. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have to do anything. I moved out and I was like, I have to do everything. And so that was pretty hard. It was a really big learning curve. It like went up like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying before, it was sort of like, oh, well, no one else is here to do it. So I'll just give it a go. And if I can't do it, then I'll ask someone to help or teach me how to do it myself so I can do it next time.
Yeah. Or YouTube.
Yeah, or YouTube. Yeah, YouTube.
I always tend to Google or YouTube. Like, if I don't know how to do anything.
YouTube or like call mom.
Yeah.
Especially with cooking.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And that did, after a while of settling in, like a few months down the track, my mum makes this like lentil soup dish. And when I was living at home, every time I'd come home and I'd be like, oh, do you know what's for dinner? And she'd be like, oh, we're having lentil soup. I'd be like, oh, lentil soup, because I was like really spoiled. And then after a while, I started to crave it. And so I called her and I was like, can you teach me how to make it? And she was like, really? And I was like, yes, I want to make it. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, me too. I feel like one of the like main change on my lifestyle was like I had to do everything. I had to be responsible. I felt like it was such a big step because it was very different from how I grew up.
Yeah.
And until now, I'm not really good at cooking, but I at least could follow recipes now. Before,
Yeah.
like I stray from like trying like home cooked. No, what I mean like food from like or dishes from like my home country because like my nana like cooks really well. Yeah, she doesn't like follow recipes. Do you know? Like I'll taste it. I'm like, it's missing this, and then put stuff. But I can't do that. Like I have to follow a recipe. So when I try something and like it doesn't work out, it's not like a familiar taste. I just get depressed, and I'm like, I'm not gonna try this anymore. But yeah, that and like being responsible. Like I have to always like have my phone. I have to always know that I have a money there because if something happens, then I have to like use my own money. Like responsible with like budgeting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Adulting is.
Well, just like what lifestyle changes did you have to make?
I think I'm appreciative of it now, but I was pretty much like going through an apprenticeship my entire life in the sense that my mum would just make me do all the side things. Like as in, if she's cooking, I'd have to chop and like I'd have to like clean dishes.
Yeah.
and all that
My mum was the
idea.
same as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things were pretty, like I knew how to do them, like anything, cleaning, washing, whatever,
Yeah.
and I knew all the procedures and stuff. So like moving out, that wasn't new to me at all. So that wasn't really overwhelming in that way. Obviously, managing your own time and planning that stuff out and like working out like a cadence of how and when to do it. That stuff, because they're not telling you now, they're not planning now.
Yeah.
That stuff you got to figure out. But I feel like that was fine. Yeah, I think cooking. Yeah, like I think I was always like sort of a taste tester for my mom, anyways. Sorry for moving the mic. Taste tester for my mom, anyways, right?
I volunteer for that now.
I didn't have to volunteer. Like
the
she
best
just.
job.
I think I was the only one that would give her like sort of candid feedback, right? And or like.
Does
be
she
able to
ever
tell.
make anything bad?
No. I mean, like it would be like, is there enough salt? Is there enough spice or whatever? Like I'd be able to tell. Like I'd be like,
so good.
salt's there, but it's like too much tomato. I was like this. So I think that in itself also trained me to like try to identify what's missing or like.
I can't tell.
I still can't
But
tell.
you're like, I can identify what's missing and
Because no, but like I can give you tips after
Okay,
this.
thank you.
Yeah, no, but like I think following like, yeah. So that also, because I'm just going off what you guys said, right? Like I'm making my answer based on all the pointers that you guys pointed out. But yeah, I think those were all fine. I think that the trickiest part was, I think more just like emotions in a way that like knowing when or how to socialize and all that stuff, because like I guess I'm introverted as well, and like I said, like I'd just isolate myself, like, or focus on the next thing, or focus on assignments, focus on whatever, and then like it's like figuring out, okay, why do I not feel like doing work, why do I not feel like doing things, etc. And all those things, which is like for me is like a big part of adulting. It's like how you manage yourself.
You were much younger when you moved out.
Yeah. So I didn't like the pressure of doing an assignment, or the pressure of like the test, and if you're stressed, and like I think typically if you're home, etc., I think your parents will sort of check, or in a way they'll be like, okay, how's studies going, or you've done this for too long, I see you're not studying today, or whatever, something like that. Like there would be no one holding you accountable. And then so like having that is like, oh, exams are next week, holy shit, I don't know all of this kind of stuff. So I think those things were like the hardest sort of adjustments, and being able to plan things, and not just like chores, but like social stuff. Like, oh, I'm feeling down, why? Right? Like all that stuff.
Well, since you mentioned social stuff, like, was it difficult trying to build your social circle again?
Luckily
or like even maintaining it. Are you still in contact with your Canberra friends?
No.
No.
Out of choice. But
okay.
yeah. But not really in college, because they actually set up things, activities, etc., so that you would see each other and stuff. Like each week there would be like a supper, a floor supper, so everyone would gather.
Oh, I've heard about that.
There'd be activities and other things.
Yeah.
So that you are like seeing each other, etc.
Yeah.
Which was great, because I think without that it would have been a steep learning curve. But when I did move out of that setting, especially moved out of uni entirely, that was tough. Because for a number of reasons, but it's like, because I also moved way far away from my friends. I moved west, right? And it wasn't feasible for me to like go see them. And also I typically wasn't good at making explicit plans, or like planning ahead.
Yeah.
So you'd see them anyways each day or whatever, or when you're working at uni, you don't have to plan that far in advance. You're like, oh, you want to go see this movie, or you want to go do this, or you want to go play that, etc.
Yeah.
And you can do that like on the day, or in 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
But now distance and also moving into work life,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta then plan like for the weekend or like something like that, and what you're gonna do during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when it sort of started becoming harder and different.
Mm.
Yeah, and yeah,
But I would say that's not really like because of like moving out and stuff. That's just life, really. That's just being an adult.
I feel like moving out, you still have your family and you still have your, like your CEO, even though you don't think you're getting the benefit while you're at home because you'd rather not see your parents or talk to them for like the next hour because you'd rather have your own time.
Yeah.
But you're around people.
Yeah.
But if you literally imagine like 1 week, you're just isolated, just on your own, and you're not seeing like anyone and like doing your work and just doing the things that you need to do, that becomes really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Even for an introvert.
Yeah, what you mentioned before about how moving out is a way, or like going to a new area is a way to reinvent yourself and start some good habits that you wanted, because there's no one around to sort of check in on you that knows you. It can go the other way. You can pick up really bad habits instead and be a lot
coping
more
mechanisms
isolated.
and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And it becomes tiring, hey? Like you're answering your own questions. You got to figure out what's going wrong, etc. Especially if you're not talking to like your parents or your family or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they might see you sat around the house or whatever. It's like, what's wrong? Or something like that. Or like they might initiate something that starts your introspection in a way. But having to solo do that can be tough. Right?
Yeah.
So I find that's the toughest sort of part for me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of nodding heads.
Yeah. Just
Because it's just so young.
now I'm reflecting on it and I'm like,
Me too.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, and I feel like I was the other end. Like you were the good side and I was the bad side. Because like, because what happened was because no one was making me accountable, and like I think I just started closing myself off more. So like even if you don't ask me, I would say this is how I feel. Because I'm always around like my family and stuff like that. But then because I became alone, I started like closing off. If you ask me, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, but not really. Yeah, so it's really hard. Like being alone for so long, it's so hard for me to like open up to people so easily.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm like the bad end and you're the good end.
No. I'm still figuring that stuff out. Like, it's in like, I feel like that's very true. And you sort of learn some patterns. Like you learn to like, okay, like if you spend all that time alone, you learn, okay, I have to deal with the shit anyways. You start thinking that you have to deal with that stuff yourself, etc. So then, and it's hard to like explain that stuff to someone else, right? Like I think like my predicament is the amount of effort that it'll take for me to explain this and all of that stuff. There's a chance they might not have answers for me anyways.
Exactly.
So I'll just figure it out myself. But I feel like that's not always the case, and that's not the way to default to it. Like you should still have a way to communicate. And that'll also help you sort yourself out, because while explaining, maybe you'll figure out like, you know, where you're at, what you're feeling and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like that's a recurring lesson. I don't think that's like, yeah. I feel, yeah, pretty much that. Like just, it's not like you ever, maybe one day I'll get to a point where it'll just happen automatically, or I'll be like the good side or whatever. But I think that's just a thing that keeps happening in a way.
I think it was a bit easier for me because I was still very young, but just a little bit older. And so I could kind of pick up on it myself. Like, for example, I remember one distinct time when like it was this particular, it was a particular patient that I had, and they were telling me about this eye problem. And in my head, I just remember thinking, oh, well, no, it's not that bad compared to the other person that I saw this morning. And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, well, stop. What just happened? Because I never do that. Everyone that comes in, they have a problem. They've come here for me to fix it. Whatever they think is serious is serious. And then eventually I went home and I sat down and I thought about it, and I was like, I'm becoming less empathetic because I'm burnt out. And then I was like, okay, I need to take a week off and just relax.
Yeah.
And so in a way I could sit back and kind of think about that on my own. But I think if I had been, 17, 18, 19, there's no way. Probably would have just cried in a corner or something like that because I don't know how to deal with my emotions. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that sounds very introspective, right? And I think that level of introspection is still at points. Like burnout, for example, is one that hits close to home kind of thing, right? Which is tend to not realize when burnout's happening. It just feels like, oh, I'm being lazy, or I'm being like, or, you know, I can't solve this problem because, you know, my skills are not high enough, whatever. I think that might be either a skill or like just a personality thing, like as to like emotional matureness in a way. And it's funny because we're similar ages, right? But at this end, but people grow differently. Right?
And your experiences make a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I wish I was like that. Like at points where it's just like figure out just burnout, or like figure out that I'm being this way. I feel like it takes a while.
Yeah.
Or because
Yeah.
Is that your experience as well?
I don't know when I'm burning out already. I just like could tell because I start snapping out to people. So I still struggle at that. So I'm still learning.
Yeah.